Greetings Marines, FiOth here, and in this vid we will be touching upon the subject of the recent weapon buffing patch that came out on the 20th. It took me a couple of days and a pretty extensive stream to test everything that changed, and I can come to you with a conclusion of whether or not this patch actually did anything. Without further ado, let's start with the guns. A few of the underdogs were touched with this patch, and everyone's mind lands on two things: the laser pistol, the EVA laser, and the minigun. I can tell you that the EVA laser is much more viable now in the sense that it does not overheat as easily and can deal more consistent damage by having a shorter charge cycle. Thing is, it still doesn't cover the niche that it's advertised to cover, meaning that you have a gun with pretty much unlimited ammo, but the way it has to be used is so restrictive, it requires so much precision and so much commitment that you're better off just having a gun with extended reserves and pacing your shots. Any one of the handguns of the game will do a better job than the EVA, guys. It is still not a good choice for your handgun slot. If you manage to become a crackshot with it, if you can put in the time to become the best EVA laser user on the planet, maybe you can do something with it that I can't because I hate it and I haven't used it much. But as it stands, it is usable at this point, but still not a good choice. Next one was the Kramer short barrel. This little shotgun, as I stated in my initial vid, is a usable gun that suffered a lot from its downtime, small mag and huge spread. Pretty much all of these have been addressed. I was having a lot of fun on stream overclocking the little thingy and then hammering at the enemy. Of course, I was not the one doing the overclock because the gunner cannot use a handgun, but it unloaded those 4 shells so fast and the reload was so consistent that, coupled with the reduced spread, I was able to put in some very decent damage even on extreme. A very nice surprise. It is much more usable now. Not as good as the rapid responder when it comes to close range choices, but much more viable, much more useful than before. Next comes the Storm Surge, the SMG. It's a burst weapon. They reduce the downtime between the bursts and they reduce the recoil. For me, the Storm Surge has always been a good gun. It didn't really need an excessive buff. The choices are welcome, of course. We were able to clear quite a few missions on extreme using just a couple of those buffed weapons, and I was pleasantly surprised by the whole feel of it. Feels more responsive, more consistent with its damage profile. Overall, as I said, always has been a good weapon, and it's even better now. An interesting differentiation came with the Halberd. You can see me using it here. Now the Halberd's main purpose is to be built for crit. They increased the crit damage profile by 25%, which is pretty huge. So I will be making a guide to mod it from the get-go, from the beginning, from scratch, aiming at increasing its potential when you hit crits. The Halberd was in that strange spot at the lowest spectrum of the damage profile, but boasting a higher fire rate, although it suffered from a smaller magazine than the Pulse, so there really was no reason for you to ever use the Halberd. But now, if you can build it for crit damage and you can hit your shots, you can do something pretty unique with it. It gives it an identity that it was lacking, it gives it a specific purpose, and for me every gun should feel different, every gun should be used for something, well, specific, let's say. So with these changes, the Halberd now has that identity. It is, let's say, the assassination weapon, a crit spot damage weapon, and if modded correctly, it can be very, very effective. As I said, look forward for the next modding guide. It will be an update on the Halberd as it stands now. Of course, the biggest question here lies with the minigun, and I have to say, that yeah, it is much better now, and it's probably the best heavy in the game as it stands, and increase to its rate of fire amongst other things, and the ability to carry and have more bullets in the mag makes it a much more consistent suppression device. You can really keep going with it for much longer than before, and of course the fact that it does not spin up as slowly, meaning you get the accuracy buff from it firing at full speed faster, is a huge boon to its overall performance. Don't get me wrong, it still isn't top tier or anything like that, but the demo suffers from a large plethora of pretty much useless guns when it comes to the heavy slot, and now that the minigun at least performs somewhat decently, we have a choice to carry something that is not there just for the decor, you know? You can actually do stuff with it. I'd suggest you give it a go, and I intend to also make a build on the demo centered around the usage of this specific heavy. So with the right gun perks, I think I can make it even more effective. As I've always been saying, with most classes, investing slots in weapon perks is a loss for me. I do not go for that. I do not really think there's a way to optimize while spending so much room just getting your guns to be a little bit better. But the demo already suffers from pretty weak abilities, mostly utility based, and is outclassed by the gunner by a huge margin. So unless they touch on the demo itself, the class, we cannot really say that it's the best choice for Extreme or Insane. So I'm gonna just make a build that makes the whole situation a little more bearable, a little more fun, and we will focus on the minigun in the process. For the rest of the patch, they fixed the glitch where you could fire the pike non-stop for the recon. Some people have been annoyed by that, but guys, come on now, glitching a bolt action rifle to fire non-stop is in no way the intended way of using it. It would happen sooner or later, and for me, the best thing that can happen to the game is iron out the glitches and the bugs, so when we get new content in December, it will play better, it will be more balanced, it will be a more overall polished experience. For the bug squashing that they mentioned and the overall stability, I have to say that I encountered less frame drops than I usually do, but then again, this game is not a benchmark piece of software by any means. Sometimes it runs well, sometimes it doesn't run really well, you know. It's pretty much a clusterfuck, you don't always know what to expect. For me, yesterday the 4-hour stream went pretty smoothly, didn't encounter frame drops, didn't encounter problems. It might have improved a bit, although I'm not gonna bet my soul on it. This patch proves that Cold Iron is still on the job, guys. They are surely preparing new content, and they are still investing the time in improving the overall state of the game. Balance in these games is a huge aspect of their replayability, so investing the time in making every single weapon, every single class feel unique and different is gonna be one of the most important aspects of the game going forward. I know that we all just want more stuff, but this thing takes time. You cannot just wish more content out, you know? They have to work on it. For me, the hugest problem I had with the development cycle of this game and the patching cycle of this game was the fact that they took their sweet time to address some really important stuff, like for example the file size problem that we had about 2 weeks ago. But now that I see that the huge stuff is getting ironed out, I am very optimistic about the future of this game, I have to tell you guys. So as you know and can probably see and understand from the creation and existence of this vid, I am still covering everything on Fireteam Elite and intend to do so for the foreseeable future. At least until June, when they said that they will release the final new content pack, at least with the roadmap that we have today. You can sub, like and share this, knowing that I will continue to create these vids. Again, I'd like to thank all my Patreons and the people using supers and stickers and all that during my streams. It really makes all this possible, guys. It is, let's say, a full-time job. at this point for me, and you know, it's a matter of viability. Without your generosity, it wouldn't be possible. So thank you very, very, very much. Mondays and Thursdays are the standard stream days, and we have an extra one out of nowhere each week that we stream other stuff apart from aliens. Next one will probably be about Returnal. We did a whole run of Fermented Souls the previous week and it was awesome. Need the notification bell so you can be notified when any of these activities comes online. Until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers!